you do about Uber and stuff, because that is,
Well, I guess it doesn't count. Not saying that Uber technically, we would have to worry about. It's covered by state statute. Ride sharing is.
right?
Where's Tim?
Ah,
Nothing
Not
on
for
well.
hire,
That's
even though I
different.
thought it was.
You ready? I'm going to call the Tipping Common Council meeting to order and begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I don't know. When did you say it?
First item on our agenda are the minutes from the last meeting, and there are two of them, one from the work session and the regular session.
Move to approve the work session minutes?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the work session minutes as presented. All those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Make a motion to approve the minutes for the regular meeting.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve the minutes from the regular session. All those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Any amendments to the agenda tonight? Hearing none, jumping into the committee meetings from the second meeting of the month, and that is, first up is Board of Works and Safety.
We had a pretty, well, not too bad of a meeting today. We approved a street closure, not even a street closure. Heath Moreland called it a planned traffic closure for the Salvation Army. They'll be collecting donations from 10 to 1 on December 13th at Main and Jefferson. And we approved the route for the turkey trot. This is the second annual one. We had a pretty lengthy discussion on the taxi license ordinance. Matt had presented or emailed some information with some questions. We discussed that. Probably next step be for the ordinance committee to look at it, get with Matt, and then present solutions for the council for consideration. Got an update from both chiefs. A lot of it was around the work that's being done to the building. Seems to be progressing pretty well. The council may need to find some money for some flooring, so that may come up the next month or two. The tile flooring in there is unbelievably old and it wasn't in the budget. So whether we ask Kern to gather those quotes or we gather them from local vendors or whatever, it's just something we need to get done.
I think more to that point, as I had to chase the sewer line, it actually, that line extended into the police department side, which wasn't an expectation. But as I continued to chase it, it resulted in them having to cut out a piece of their flooring. So they don't make the flooring they have in there currently. And I think as Nate's experience, and maybe Rich, maybe you even know, that flooring is begging for replacement. So
It's VCT original to the building. It's been stripped and waxed so many times that when we started to strip it 2 or 3 years ago, there was literally nothing left. It was eating into the floor. And it became, it's pretty slippery when it's wet. It's not good all around.
It's hazardous.
Yeah, it's not good all around. But other than that, for the police side, our two new hires are coming off FTO. They should go to the academy in Q1 or so. Chief Stout says they're doing really well, adapting well. Had a vehicle pursuit with Assistant Chief Lacey, new officer FTO Cameron Shank, and Travis Huffman, Officer Huffman, and that pursuit through Tifton all the way to Howard County, where the state police got involved. Had to do a pit maneuver, but no one was hurt. None of our vehicles were hurt in that crash, but we did have 2 vehicles damaged on the same day somehow around that time of the first snow. Neither were the PD's fault. So those will be getting taken care of. And then 6 new vehicles are in and being modified now as we speak. And both the police and fire have done a lot of community outreach in the last 45 days. So I'll let the mayor give me other updates if they already see or anything.
very good. Golf Advisory has not met. Jumping to solid waste, did have their regular scheduled meeting, conducted regular business. Angela continues to clean up the facility, is applying for a grant opportunity through the Tippecanoe County Solid Waste District. And then I'll get to more in my report, but also discussed at some length about yard waste, the collection of and depositing it there on the facility. Street Line Sidewalk has not had a need to meet Planning Commission.
We did have a meeting on the 13th. It was a pretty decent meeting. We just had a long discussion about the new UDO for the city. So that's still in the works. Other than that, it was pretty quiet.
Very good. Utility Board.
The utility board met last Monday evening. We got a report from Cronin and Associates on the rate study for the water and wastewater. That's all we're doing with that right now, is just seeing what the study shows, and then there is some news. There's gonna be, well, if it's approved by the county, a new speedway just west of the Love's gas station. That's pretty much the meeting.
Very good. Mayor's Youth Council, the group did convene, I believe it was last Monday evening, and presented their projects for consideration and execution next semester. To highlight a couple of those, one was a volunteer management project where they knew that there was interest widespread in the community, both from a volunteer perspective and then also groups who need volunteers. And so their goal was to help marry some of the needs of local organizations with some of even the graduation expectations from students, and getting students more participatory with groups around town. Some of it was to address some of the needs of the school corporation, but then also wider spread within the community. Another group also presented on mural crosswalks, their impacts within not only neighborhoods and the broader community, but then just getting some greater art appreciation. I think a lot of that was spurred based on the conversations around the library that they're having of installing that mural crosswalk next year. And then there's one or two other groups who discussed actually making improvements to the nature center. So as a way to help beautify, it continues to be a challenge just because of how much area it encompasses, but then also the focuses of funds, much like the city, continue to be challenged on some of these capital items that we own. So some great partnership between community, students, and the school corporation to invest in those spaces. So I think there's actually some opportunity that all of these move forward in next semester. So looking forward to those executions. Jumping into our agenda items, moving to Mayor's Report, a few other updates from me. You may see that some of the tree grates in the downtown are being removed and concrete is being poured there. So and that's being done in areas where the trees are either dead or have already been removed. So many of those have become trip hazards, and we've actually had a couple of incidences where that's occurred. So we have an idea of how we want to replace this into the future, but for the time being, we want to at least eliminate those from remaining to be trip hazards in the downtown area. So that work is starting now. There'll be a plan on some of the other remaining trees. They're just, some of them are showing that they are either dying or in that process, and there are other ones that are quite healthy. So trying to figure out as we prepare in the future, for example, we likely won't do anything permanent along 28, given the project, the LPA project, to replace much of the sidewalk on the south side. But where these other areas exist, doing something that's a little easier for us to manage and doesn't create problems for the downtown sidewalks. So open for suggestions there, and also working on some other opportunities and grant opportunities for that. Baseball project, the DNR grant application was turned in. I think the last meeting we had, that was the expectation of that week. So just wanted to follow up and confirm that the grant application, or the permit application rather, has been turned into DNR. We're in this big hurry up and wait process now, as we can't touch anything on the facility until that permit application is approved. So we continue to stay in conversation with DNR to make sure that that permit application follows through the necessary bureaucratic processes so we can schedule that groundbreaking soon. Had a meeting with Shrewsbury Engineering and NDOT. Both city and county representation was there. It was the first of several meetings that would be held to discuss the roundabout at Park Road in 19. This was the first, so most of this was about identifying some of the challenges with utility locations, or where, at least where we thought there might be utility conflicts, and then discussing from a park perspective the entryway there, how far west they could bring the new pavement before it started to interfere with either utilities or some of the built environment. So it was a really great meeting. NDOT, I feel, has a different approach to a lot of these projects. They want to be more engaged with the community, hosting more public meetings, receiving feedback well in advance of their projects. So they no longer just want to surprise the community with a project. They want to be more participatory. So expect there to be call outs, public meetings regarding that. That project, I believe, is scheduled for 31. So again, we've got a lot of time ahead of us, but they're already investing in some of those conversations. The redevelopment bond, or redevelopment district bond, we did close on that and the park bond last week. The note on the RDC is that this allowed the city the financial capability to purchase the county's property interests in Northgate Industrial Park expansion. That's a request that the county commissioners had made last year. Just want to confirm back to the council that that's our expectation in the short term. My hope is that we can actually purchase that property interest before the Christmas holiday, just to honor that request from the county commissioners. So we're working toward that. I haven't had any specific feedback on the next steps in that process, but remain engaged with the commissioners and their legal counsel for that. The street department for the city of Tipton and County Highway of Tipton County had a joint training session on the new brining machine that the city of Tipton purchased. This is going to be part of this joint effort. Now that NDOT has provided the city and county notice we can't store our salt with them anymore, we're working toward a joint solution for both the city and the county. One of our contributions to this relationship was that we would purchase the brine making machine so they can actually handle both city brining activity and the county, and will actually increase the amount of brine that we can produce for each of our needs. So I think the expectation, the plan is that this improves winter conditions in Tipton and Tipton County with brine. As I continue to learn about these unique operations, brine requires very specific, or at least parameters in which it can be effective. So that's not a blanket statement that they will be improved road conditions in the winter, but that is a real possibility because we can control the production of brine, whereas before we were governed by NDOT's creation of it. Last update from me is related to yard waste. As I mentioned earlier, myself and Dylan have been in contact with Caldwell Incorporated. It's a group that does, amongst a lot of things, yard waste mitigation. They actually compost. They've got a license or a permit through IDEM to do such. So our yard waste may become managed by them, which would mean they'll give us a 40-yard container. We fill the container. They come pick up, drop a new container, so that we don't store it on site within the city of Tipton outside of that container. So it'll improve the conditions at solid waste. So we no longer have this massive pile that's attracting rodents amongst other things, but then also creates a better relationship where we're not just holding this material with no expectation of mitigation in sight. That completes my report for this evening. We move to resolutions and ordinances. The first is, and both of these are transfers. The first is resolution 2025-31, a resolution to transfer within LRS fund. And it is a decrease in 232 sign and materials for $8,500 and an increase in 312 engineering services, $8,500.
I move that we approve resolution 2025-31.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve resolution 2025-31. All those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes. The next is resolution 2025-32, a resolution to transfer within the general fund for street department. That's a decrease in 360 repair parts, $2,500, and an increase in 451 other equipment, $2,500.
Move to approve resolution 2025-32.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve resolution 2025-32. All those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next on our agenda are claims.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve for payment claims 180505 through 180989 in the amount of $963,671.32.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve claims this evening. All those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We're now to petitions, comments, and memorials.
Andy Humphrey, 306 Rosie Street. I don't recall any conversation when they ran the new gas lines, I guess. Who is going to be responsible for fixing the street? Main Street is horrible. Is that the city's responsibility or is it the gas company's responsibility?
I don't know the answer to that question, but it is a question I intend to find an answer to because I recently drove Main Street too, and I had the exact same experience. I will say that our communication with the gas company has not been great, but I would hope that it is their expectation to fix it to a condition that they found it. So I will find that answer for you.
And then meeting a dead horse, the garbage that is behind Tim Lines or alongside of it. There are skids, cardboard, probably 10 skids of dead pumpkins, old pumpkins. I'm asking you, Rick, to go look at it since you're at large, because it's ridiculous. And he's not here, so, and I think he's made enough excuses and had at least a month to get it cleaned up. Thank you.
Thank you.
I might add that Berryman Pike is the same way.
Yeah.
It'll really bounce you.
Pretty rough.
You know, some communities will, particularly if they're difficult to get, will require some sort of performance bond before they ever make a street cut. I don't think that's the case here, but.
Yeah, more questions to that.
You've got some money to fall back.
Yeah.
In Jefferson Street West, out by
Oh, yes.
the Moose, and they've been working out there.
They put a little bit of blacktop in that big chuck hole. When I was going to the jail, it didn't bounce me out of the seat this time,
Yeah.
so. I seen they were cutting the road up by Industrial Drive and to the south towards the railroad track. The gas company was out there slicing the sides of where they had dug that out. So I don't know if they intend on paving it or filling it and fixing it, but I was gonna ask the same question,
Yeah.
so Andy beat me to it.
Was it the gas company that's working West Dearborn? That was closed today.
Wilson was closed today.
Yes.
Partway from
Hmm.
High Performance Alloy.
It's Miller Pipeline.
Yeah, then yes. it was
Yeah, that's who I
gas
seen.
company. We continue to try to improve that. When they first showed up in town, we actually had to give them a stop work order because they didn't have a permit to do any of this work. So we continue to try to improve that so we can, for instances like this, closing Wilson, it'd be our preference that we would know that information so we could provide notice to the community. So some improvements to make there.
Agreed.
I'd like to give kudos to Diana. Looks like she's got all the Christmas ornaments and stuff out at the park. I know they're not on yet, but drove by today and it's looking pretty good.
Is somebody gonna fix that hole in the front of the soup tree, please?
Hey, it's me again. Is there any way, you said there's 6 new cars or 20 new cars, police
6.
cars?
Hmm.
You know, she's a department head and, you know, the street has a vehicle. Why don't she have one?
She has a truck, I believe.
She has a city truck.
The She herself, no, but the department has
Red.
at least 2, I believe.
Could it be arranged that she have a vehicle, one of the old police cars or something can be
Oh, you mean for Diana's
for, yeah,
specific use?
for work?
Good suggestion.
Thank you, Keegan. Bob Edinger, Tipton. You brought up about trees in the sidewalk. Well, I'd like to talk about a different tree. The Christmas tree downtown.
This is going to mar my first term.
I've read lots of stuff and had lots of people stop and talk to me, mainly because they know I go to a lot of meetings, and which is fine. Quite some time ago, I talked to you, and you gave me a number on the tree, but without looking it up, and whether you had exact numbers yet, I don't know. That I recall was somewhere under 30,000, and then decorations, and I think there was something else in there, I don't recall. Well, I have people tell me, they tell me they got this from somewhere reliable, which nobody seems to know where that is, but, like there's a $40,000 tree and a $45,500 tree, a $65,000 tree, and the other day, somebody said it's $100,000. And I thought, well,
We're going the wrong
I'm
way.
wondering if you could give, not only myself, but everybody a little insight into how much this tree was,
Yeah.
because, I'm pretty sure what I thought you told me, but
Yeah. So the Christmas tree in downtown Tipton cost roughly $23,000 itself. There's also, in conjunction with that, because you can buy just a plain tree, and they vary by size. We selected the 30-foot tall tree. There's a decoration package because you can customize the decorations. So that plus the tree topper came out to just over $7,000. So the tree plus the decorations and the topper, as I believe, memory serves me correctly, $30,250, I believe. So there was additional, and I think some of the claim on the 44 or 45,000, that number for the entire purchase from that company is true. There's additional pieces that we see now installed in downtown on the light poles that covered that distance. So there's some shipping in there that I think freight on the order was $2,500. And so all of that total came out to roughly 44,000, 45,000. But the tree itself, tree decoration package and the tree topper, $30,250.
yeah, no one ever mentioned anything about something going on poles. Maybe they just forgot that part of the story. I don't know, but I'm glad you could clear that up. Something else I keep hearing about is the tree in the park that used to get decorated that, I've heard all the way from doing nothing to not decorating to somebody actually said they were gonna cut it down. Can you give us a little insight there?
I'll preface this by saying, in jest, well, we can't have competition amongst our Christmas trees. No, there is. In fact, the lights are on the Christmas tree right now. Both the fire department and Tipton Municipal Utilities participated in hanging the lights on that tree. So the city will continue to put lights on the famed Christmas tree in the city of Tipton.
And didn't we add a bunch of the stuff into the park last year, if I remember right?
Correct.
Because there was a bunch of new stuff
Yeah.
out there last year.
We do have a local donor, in fact, who helps by donating a piece. She has for at least the last 2 years that I'm aware of.
Because it looked great last year.
Yep. So yes, we will, in theory, have 2 Christmas trees in town.
So by decorating that tree in the park, I assume it's not gonna be cut down?
You are correct.
Well, not until we take the lights off.
No, we put all the junk ones on there so we can get rid of them at the same time.
That said that.
I will even say, Bob, that when we had the meeting with NDOT to discuss the roundabout Park Road, we actually did discuss that tree and that you cannot touch that tree. So we understand the importance of that tree and we'll continue to advocate for its importance.
Well, what came to me seemed to be in conjunction to the tree you bought, not NDOT.
Hmm.
Well, I, for one, I'm anxious to see it get lit. Thank you.
Thanks, Bob.
Sorry, I just keep popping in my head. So, food for thought, why don't we have a community organization, high school organizations, whomever, decorate that tree? And so they would be responsible if they want to do a section or whatever instead of the expenditure, because those things are gonna get broken. To make it more community orientated.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I can only speak to Bob's Court Street tree. A very good friend of mine that lives in Cicero, we started the first grade together, so you can imagine how long ago that was.
They're pretty old.
I did not say that.
That's a century.
Dirt.
He called me the other day and he doesn't have a great deal of interest in Tipton, but he wanted to know why we spent $67,000 on a Christmas tree. And now I couldn't invest your $100,000 rumor, but so I tried to inform him that he wasn't the
So
case.
people in Hamilton County are talking about it.
Yeah, it's a Hamilton County
We
problem.
talked about it.
You'd think they'd have enough to worry about
Yeah.
without worrying about us, but maybe not.
All press, right?
No bad press.
We're out there.
I move we adjourn.
Okay.
Motion and second to adjourn the meeting. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
No pizza.
So pre
I'm
Thanksgiving,
gonna get pizza.
pre Thanksgiving pizza.